Good morning, ma'am. So this new topic is particular methods and strategies in learner-centered teaching. So these strategies when it's come to their to employment in the classroom and how we facilitate learner-centered teaching. So first is when we say approach, we're talking about a set of correlative assumptions about the nature of teaching and learning. So these assumptions comes within our own personal philosophy of teaching, like what mom said in the video. Learning approaches can be divided into two types. We have student-centered and teacher-centered approach. So method is a general way in which activity is conducted. A method is a plan for presenting the lesson to be learned and should be based upon a selected approach. So first is that strategy teaching over techniques. So the former refers to developing a plan to achieve goals and to guide and the end desirable result. It means the art of using psychological plans in order to increase the probabilities of favorable outcomes of success and to reduce the chances of failure. So when it comes to strategy, so there are two general categories: exposition discovery. You have learning and group individual learning. So the existence of a teaching strategy now is to create a plan as a system and organization in order to avoid coming up with a day in class where no goals are achieved. So it sets goals and objectives achieved, and usually there are categories, whether it's kind of discovery learning or group individual learning. So while technique refers to a person's unique way of carrying out a specific step of a method. So let's say you have let's we say you have two teachers, both use a lecture, but their delivery of the lecture differs. So one of them just talks and explains and tells or talks or explains. So while the other one in the of the discussion would actually prove questions or would let the other one lead the discussion. Now is actually very specific. It's concrete strategy or trick designed to achieve an objective. Technique is a procedure or skill for completing a specific task. It includes easy tricks and used to get the job done in the classroom. So uh, next is inductive strategy. So learner-centered teaching and learning. There's a need to calibrate classroom teaching that uses authentic tasks and problem solving to make learning real. So like what mom said, is authenticity is the key. Um, so it's a better way to motivate learners through this type of uh, strategy, which is inductive strategy, in which the teachers begin by presenting which specific challenge, such as experimental data to interpret, a case study to analyze, or any other type of challenge. So what inductive methods have in common is that learners are presented with a challenge, and then they learn what they need to know to address the challenge. So the methods differ in the nature and scope of the challenge, as well as the amount of guidance learners receive from their teachers as they attempt to meet the challenge. So inductive teaching methods would actually help deepen the learner's curiosity. So even challenging their knowledge or even their capacity, the challenge. So the lack of structure and guidance provided by the teacher, as well as the trial and error component required of learners, are the defining features of discovery learning, according to French 2006. Teachers may provide feedback in response to the students' but offers little or no direction before or during this effort. So the future now is actually to let students carry out activities on their own, with the teachers only coming in at the end when it feedback is given. So this make it very unique because learners have the freedom to choose and decide how they will carry out activities. So and learners see how can facilitate their learning and even activate their necessary skills and their higher thinking capacity or higher knowledge. So for me, if I'm giving a chance to choose what methods or strategy that I want to employ to my students or learners, is that under inductive methods, inductive strategy methods, is that DL or the discovery learning. Because why do I say so? Because in the discovery learning, the this discovery learning is a kind of teaching that is based on that student finding things out for themselves, looking into problems and asking questions. And essentially, it's all about the students coming uh, to their own conclusions and asking about things in their course that might not make a particular sense. So obviously, as soon as inquiries are made, they can learn new things and hence will have become part of a what you call this innovative. So through provoking and interesting educational journey. So it encourages students to look for solutions instead of just teaching students to memorize rules of concepts. So uh, these methods lets them apply ideas to their lives. So and it creating memorable lessons that will help them to turn into live learners. So that's all, and thanks for listening.